You know, I was just thinking about just some comments that I was reading and something that I was explaining. And I find it hilarious that people will still continue to listen to someone consistently after they are consistently proven blatantly wrong over and over and over again, like almost 100% of the time outright false. Like not just false, but ridiculous, hilariously wrong. Literally almost every single time, like consistently wrong. And yet for example, the QAnons, like some of your favorite QAnon YouTube channels who have consistently said that QAnon executed Tom Hanks and Ellen DeGeneres and who else? And Bill Gates, all that, consistently claiming multiple times over in numerous posts, on numerous videos, on numerous occasions, consistently making those claims that Bill Gates and Ellen and Tom Hanks were all executed by QAnon. And yet, here we are like 2 years later, and they're still in the public eye. More than ever, they're still around. And of course, you know, the response to that is you move the goalposts and then say, oh, well, those are just their clones now. Those are their robot clones. Those are just, they're just their fabricants. You know, so you can move the goalposts all you want, but when you're consistently, take any number of the QAnon claims, any one of them, any single one of them, and the fact that people built their entire following and YouTube channel, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. For example, someone like Jordan Slather. For example, you know, not to attack someone's character, because, you know, I know he's a nice guy and everything, or praying medic. You know, for example, these are two examples. For example, built their entire audience on nothing but false, consistently false and overtly ridiculously insane and false claims. Everything about QAnon. Built their entire followings and channels on nothing but proven false disinfo psyops over and over and over again. And that people still continue to not just continue to follow these people, even after they've been consistently proven wrong. And so these people are consistently misleading you. The blind leading the blind. Literally, straight off the edge of no ledge, because they don't know where the edge of the ledge is. And so it blows my mind that people consistently, you know, continue to not just continue to follow, but to double down and triple down and continue to move the goalposts on stuff like that. Whereas conversely, for someone, you know, like my content, or someone like myself personally, how people will say that they can no longer, you know, follow me or watch my videos or watch my channel, or they can no longer, you know, support my work or my research or continue to, you know, share my content or anything like that, you know, or can't even be bothered to listen or to read any of my research, or to listen to what I have to share anymore, because of either my ego or my, you know, the way or my attitude, or whatever it is, some kind of cult of personality disorder that they have against me, which cult of personality is a logical fallacy where you judge somebody based on their personality rather than the veracity of their content. Rather than by their fruits ye shall know them. In other words, the fruits that fall from their tree is all that matters. The fruits of one's labor, the quality and veracity of one's work. You know, how true is it? Consistently, is it almost 100% of the time consistently accurate, such as my content is? I mean, sure, I'll be wrong occasionally, here and there, about minor details, about minutia, you know, and slightly off on certain things, whereas in the greater context of it, it's objectively it's verifiable. It's not only is it falsifiable, meaning that it can be you can use objective criteria and actual factual research to either prove it correct or disprove it. In other words, you can validate it, you can verify it, you can fact check it, you can take it to the bank. You know, that's what falsifiability means. Unfalsifiable claims are claims that have no substance to them whatsoever, and therefore they can't be fact checked. They can't be, you know, for example, like channelings or something that is just pure speculative conjecture or opinion or speculation. Those things are unfalsifiable claims. So you can't check it one way or another. You just have to rely on, you know, you have to just trust the plan. You have to place your entire trust in what the person is saying and hope that they're not misleading you, hope that they're not wrong, hope that they're not it's faith-based information. It's faith-based. It's a cult. It's cult-like mentality. It is the logical fallacy. Look up the bandwagon effect. It's a well-known, well-studied psychological phenomenon, a logical fallacy. So these things where, you know, where people get hung up on, you know, someone's personality, whether they're, you know, fun to listen to or, you know, they're a nice person, but they're consistently wrong, like almost 100% of the time for years and years, and have built entire audiences based on that complete false information, complete falsity, complete falsehood, consistently wrong, time and time again, almost 100% of the time, literally the inverse of what is true, consistently, rather than the opposite of being consistently accurate and verifiable and falsifiable, almost 100% of the time. But yet you don't like someone because of, you know, because of, for example, like you don't like me, but you can't follow my information, you can't share any of my research, you won't watch my coronavirus documentary videos because you either think that viruses aren't real and they don't exist, because you came to that conclusion before you even saw any of the bombshell information that I've dropped in these Inoculum of Truth videos. You know, so which is a heuristic bias. The first information you come across is what you hitch your bandwagon to, is what you hitch your trailer to. And you're just along for the ride. You know, and so anything that comes along after that, along the way, no matter how heavy the weight of that credibility or that information and the research is, no matter how much it can be verified and fact-checked and substantiated, run it through the gauntlet, fucking try to tear it apart. You can't, because it's rock solid. It's like you pass it through the gauntlet and it just gets stronger. You know, it's like the Hulk. You know, you bombard it, and the more energy you unload into it, the stronger it becomes. The greater the weight of the argument, the greater the weight of the substance continues to get, because it is the objective truth of reality. It is the real truth. And no matter how much you try to tear it apart, it only gets stronger. So I'm sort of rambling on at this point, but that was just the thought that came across my mind was, you know, how people can consistently support and follow and continue to buy into channels, sources of information, sources of whatever that are consistently proven wrong, time and time again. For example, Bill Gates and Tom Hanks and Ellen DeGeneres being executed by QAnon. And yet, they obviously have not been, because they're still around, tormenting our lives. You know, so they're still around. They clearly have not been executed. You know, so it's ridiculous, and yet people continue. Geez, it's diesel engine hour around here. Continue consistently to be proven wrong. and people will come to me and say that, they can't support, my research, or they can't support the bombshell information that I'm consistently dropping day in and day out, like dozens per day, consistently, multiple videos per week. It's, let alone the articles, the research, the studies, the graphics, like everything else, like consistently, because I simply show how people are incorrect about certain things. Sometimes I can be abrasive about it, depending on the level of ignorance and arrogance and pushback that I get on a case-by-case basis. Like if someone's just blatantly trolling, I will just completely school them, and I'll be like that. That's how we always were, me and my friends. On the football team, in school, like we show our respect for each other by poking fun at each other. And that's the attitude I come at this with, is I have always been a Heyoka, meaning that I've always been like a Loki, a sacred clown, a sacred fool archetype, where I poke fun at people in order to provoke them, to get them to think. It's to make you think, is I provoke your thought. I will play devil's advocate in order to see all perspectives at once, to see things from different points of view, to think about things from a different viewpoint, to see it from a different viewpoint, to see it from all angles, 360 degrees of objective truth. The truth is an object that is there. It can be proven no matter what. Your subjective perception is the angle at which you see that thing from at any given point in time. However, there is consistently 360 degrees of perspective around that truth. The truth is an object. It is objective. It is there. It can be known and it can be proven from every angle that you approach it from. So you have to approach it from every angle. You have to come at it from different angles in order to truly see the full thing. It's that metaphor about, the different guys that are blindfolded and they're all feeling the different parts of the elephant. It's a big smooth surface. It's a flexible, soft. They're feeling different parts of an elephant, so they think they're feeling different things, but yet it's one thing. It's one elephant. They're just viewing or feeling it from different perspectives. You have to see all of it. That's what the credibility of that's what the scientific method is for. That's what the hierarchy of evidence is for. And I've covered this numerous times throughout my whole critical thinking how-to video series on YouTube, on my channel, is how to think critically, what the hierarchy of evidence is, what the hierarchy of insight is. Data, information, knowledge, wisdom. And it's a scale, depending on your level of depth the more context that you have, the greater scale, the greater view you have, the greater overview you have about these things, from esoteric to exoteric, inner and outer, gnosis and scientia, the twin pillars of truth. I've got a full video series about that. I mean, on and on and on. I'm the one actually teaching you how to think. That's one of the criticisms that, like, the Jordan Slather audience came at me with, was they were like, you telling people what to think? And I'm not the one telling people what to think. I'm the one telling people how, showing people how to think truly critically. And that means that I'm going to tell them and show them things that they don't like to hear. But I'm going to do it anyways, because I only care about the truth. I only care about the truth. And I do that to myself, first and foremost, primarily. That's why my scrap pile of information that I can no longer support, that hasn't made the cut, that I wish was true, but unfortunately it's not, and it doesn't hold up to the standards of scrutiny, that goes in the scrap pile. That's why my scrap pile is huge. Several times larger than my published, success pile, the stuff that has made the cut, the Symbols of Power series, the Inoculum of Truth series, the How to Think Critically series, my entire published bodies of work that have made the cut. My scrap pile is several times bigger than that, because unfortunately it didn't make the cut. And I can't in good conscience promote that type of stuff, because it's simply, even if I want it to be true, it doesn't make the cut, even if it might possibly be true. But it's unfalsifiable. There's no way for people to, I no longer do that stuff anymore. I did used to do like a lot of channelings and, more new age stuff and, a lot more just purely metaphysical stuff. But Ken Wheeler, if you want to get into real metaphysics, like Ken Wheeler style, ancient Greek style, ancient Vedic style, like the stuff that is founded on objective, substantial truth. And you can actually build things with it because it has real weight, real credibility. You can build a foundation of stone. It is a foundation. It's a foundation. You can only build the truth. You build your house, build a temple on a foundation, a solid foundation of stone. And again, we cover this fully in my full, etymology of truth video entire presentations. What is the truth? The truth literally comes from the root of the tree. The tree is the truth because not only in form and structure and function, but because it comes from the root of Drew. The truth comes from the root of the tree. The root of Drew, as in the Druids, from Drew meaning true. The root is the truth. The truth is the foundation. The root is the foundation. It's the strength, the base that builds a solid foundation in order for the tree to grow into the heights of heaven. To build a structure, you have to have a solid, firm stone foundation, because when the shifting sands of time come along, don't come the winds and the rains, come the big bad wolf to huff and puff to blow down your structure. It has to stand the testament of time, as the tree does. And it does that because, again, it has a perfect balance between flexibility and rigidity. It's a perfect balance. It's not too rigid to where it's never going to change. It's never going to change its mind. It thinks it knows everything and it's never going to change. It has to have flexibility. It has to bend, or else it's going to break and it's going to collapse. A bridge, we cover this fully. So, I'm not going to rehash all that stuff again, but I'm teaching you how, I'm showing you numerous ways over and over and over and over again, countless different examples, whether it's health and diet and nutrition, physical fitness, whether it's, pathogen microbiology, all of that stuff, debunking stuff like pathogen denial, debunking the whole myths about germ theory versus terrain theory. There is no debate between the two. They're both one and the same thing. They're two halves of the same coin. They're two aspects of health and fitness or health and wellness. Whether it's that or whether it's the objective shape of the earth, whether it's the truth about the spherical earth, debunking flat earth, or whether it's debunking QAnon, or whether it's debunking any other major disinfo psyop campaign that comes along that everyone hitches their bandwagon to, and they get completely skewed. They get completely thrown off the wagon of truth. They get completely they spin off and they spin out from the main timeline of truth into these whirlpools, these back eddies of disinfo nowhere. They're dead ends. You fall, get sucked off, siphoned off, like spinning on a paint wheel that spins. You get centrifugally spun out and you're lost. You're not focused on that centripetal axis of truth, the pillar of truth, the cosmic pillar, the fulcrum around which all things turn, the universal fulcrum, the cosmic pillar, the axis mundi. On it, so many countless ways to prove the objective truth versus subjective relativism. the main tenet of disinformation in the world. Subjective relativism. Thinking that one person has their own truth, or that they have the ability to overthrow the entire, field of everyone else, the entire field of science itself. Someone like not Dr. Tom Cowan, or someone like Andy Kaufman, or Ajahnu Vonderplanets and Stefan Lanka, these lone wolves that think that they have the credibility and the weight of evidence to overthrow literally every single other person that has ever published in the field, when these people are not even in the field. Tom Cowan, Andrew Kaufman, Stefan Lanka, these people are not even in the field. And they think they have found the sole truth that overturns the entirety of the field of research that has ever been conducted and that has ever done. And of course, they think that they have all the evidence that has ever been conducted and ever been done. But the truth is, they don't. The truth is that they don't, but it's even worse that they think that they have the ability to do that, which they also objectively do not. Again, not to attack people's character, but this is the truth. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude about it, but the truth is, I don't care if I'm rude about it or not. I only care about the truth. I don't care about how my attitude comes across towards you. It's too hard to walk on all those eggshells to where I'm never going to piss anyone off, and that's just not, I can't live my life like that. I can't do it. I'm passionate about everything, and I have to fucking express it that way. I have to express my truth, the way I want to express it, because that's how much it means to me. So, all right, guys, well, it's good talk. I'll see you out there. Keep trucking. My name is Cullen Smith. This is Lifting the Veil. You can find all of my full books, presentations, videos, films, articles, posts at subscribestar.com/liftingtheveil. Patreon has suspended this work and my account and income stream for this content. So if you are a supporting patron, then please, I ask you to move your support over to subscribestar.com/liftingtheveil. And I have just established a completely free, uncensored, totally free speech social media platform that replaces Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, every other platform all in one on liftingtheveil.locals.com. You can download the Locals app and you can join our group and have totally free speech and totally uncensored, unrestricted content access. And there is also a ton of exclusive content, and I will leave the cited reference links in the description down below. So you can check that out for all of my full content, and I will see you guys in the next video. I rely solely on word of mouth, and the recommended algorithms are not recommending any of my videos or films anymore. My channel has literally been completely restricted, so I rely on your help by sharing my work around if you appreciate it, and leave me your comments. I definitely want to know what you have to share and what you have to think about all of this stuff, and I will see you in the next video.